about 3 years ago, I found these weird cards. Now, you gotta, if you know magicians, and some of you probably don't, but my wife certainly does, you know that you have like a warehouse in the back, you got your garage full of stuff, you got counters and tables and under boxes full of stuff, and I pulled these things out, and I found like these two, they're white cards on both sides, they had little holes in them, and I found these two, they're white on one side and then red on the other side cards, right? And I thought, I don't know, ears, bracelets, and I'm sitting there trying to imagine why I ever had these or made these or what happened to them. It was like 3 years ago, I couldn't figure it out, and I was going to put it, back in my case, and then I realized that, wait, there was a poem with it. Ooh, and that, remember, I spent a whole weekend writing this poem, because at one point, I thought it would be a good idea to mix poetry with a card trick. Yeah. But I started looking at about 6 months ago, I started thinking, no, it's not so bad. I changed this word here, changed that. And I thought, why not, let's do this thing, do cultural at one of my shows. So, are you ready for the poem? Yes. Good. I call it the whole thing. I should probably make sure you know what this means because, where did it go here? There it is, yes. Because there's two spellings here. Just want you to point out that there's whole and whole. Okay. All right, so, all right, let's try this. All right, the whole thing. All right. Cards can confuse and baffle the brain and make you see things that you cannot explain. Now, these rather odd cards I want to show are called whole cards by those in the know. Now, the first is a whole card because of the whole, right? And the second's a whole card because it is whole, right? And the third's like the second, and it's plain the meat, and the fourth is like the first. There's a whole, you see? Yes, this is a story once sung by the bards about the two whole cards and the two whole cards. Now, before I go further, I better explain that the back of the whole card is really not plain. It's covered in red. And what do you know? Put a whole card in front and look through the hole. Well, some say it is and some say it's not, but to me, it looks like a card with a spot. That's right. Turn the back cards over, and if you do, you'll find not one spot card, but two. But don't be confused by illusion, These spot cards are really a whole card beneath a hole. Now, if you put the whole works together, and you press down with glee, and out slides a real spot card. You see? Now, you may be alarmed, but don't worry, so I still have two whole cards and a hole. But if I tap this whole card on this spot quite a lot, you'll find you end up with a whole bunch of spots. Holy cow! Now, these spots are tiny, and that's not my goal. I want a big spot, so I think I know that if I press once again, and I press really hard, that this time the spot will cover the whole card. All right, the confounding last card can cause holy confusion. Can it be real? Is it illusion? Is it a whole card because of the hole? Is it a whole card that looks whole like so? Could it be spotted? The answer is no. It's something much worse. It's a spot with a hole. Whole cards and spot cards and holes with a ring, they're not so confusing. You've seen the whole thing, but if you're confused and you say it ain't so, then you were watching the spot. All together now, instead of the hole. Okay, it works. All right. Okay.